have started.
Okay, we are recording. It is
we are recording. Do we got to do our pause thing?
Not for the beginning so much.
Oh.
Just hit it. In the end we do.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Midnight Movie Distillery. I am one of your hosts, Logan Lynch.
I'm another one of your hosts, Warwick Price.
And I am a third unnecessary host, Lon Black.
Totally unnecessary.
Yeah. Totes.
Totally unnecessary.
What are we doing today?
Today we're going to be reviewing Winnie the Pooh.
Motorcycle Gang.
Yeah.
Winnie
You guys can hear
Ignore
that or
them.
not. Yeah.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And what else do we do in our wonderful podcast?
Tell us,
We
Lon.
compare it, or we don't. We match it. We pair it with a whiskey.
Okay,
Now-
so with Blood and Honey.
Yeah, blood and honey. So I'm so upset about this.
Uh-oh.
I complained to the guys.
Oh, no.
I can't get something for this, and Logan was like, "You dumbass, just get a honey blended whiskey something or other. There's tons of those
Okay.
out there." And I'm like, "But I hate those."
Okay.
I love it. There it
Because
is. Oh.
Logan's got a sweet tooth. We are going with an American honey, and this is by Wild Turkey.
Interesting.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Now, the reason I did Wild Turkey is because I'm not much of a fan of Jack Daniels and Jim Beam, and those are the two other big honey makers.
Of course,
a lot
those are
of
the
other
ones I've
ones
had.
make honey, but we had the other Wild Turkey, and it's been a long time since I had Wild Turkey, and that
It
one that we
wasn't-
had that was Long Branch
Yep, wasn't too bad.
was delicious.
Yeah. Maybe they'll go 2 for 2.
I'm not confident about this.
Because it's a screw top.
Ooh. Sounds like bones cracking.
And I don't have a sweet tooth.
So I might like this, is what you're saying.
Okay.
It just smells like sugar.
Oh my God.
So I'm probably going to be licking the bottles.
Yeah.
It sounds-
yeah.
All right.
Actually, it smells like perfume. Like it
Oh.
smells like.
So let
I
me
think you're right. Like I'm getting like an air freshener.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
Let me
That's no
clarify
bueno.
for everybody out there. This is technically a liqueur
Oh.
because it's got bourbon and a shit ton of sugar.
So there's a limitation then before it becomes a liqueur?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So, but we're going to try it. I think that's plenty for me. Warwick, you say when.
Oh, when?
Okay. And
If I
That's
like
good. That's
low.
good.
If I like it,
I was gonna say I don't know if I like it yet. So
I will have more.
all
me-
right, now
let me
let's
put
try.
this top
We've
back
noticed
on.
different noses with.
I'll put that up there where all you guys can ponder it. It's wonderful.
Man, now you've got me
Sweetness.
thinking like.
All right.
It smells like a perfume.
Shall we hit this?
We shan't.
Oh my God,
Okay.
that is pretty vile.
What?
Don't. You got to rate it first,
Yes.
you
Oh,
dick.
sorry.
Oh yeah, that's right. Great. So we forgot to tell people.
Vile
We use
in
barrels
in a
to-
good way.
We have a barrel rating system, and it's 1 through 5. Sometimes we use multiples, so you might see like we're not giving it a 12 or 15 or 51. It's just
But you might get like a 1.2.
yeah. So we just don't have a period.
All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
I'm being as generous as I can.
Okay.
Go.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
The Godfather's calling.
Apparently.
What'd you get
sorry.
it?
Just give him enough.
1.3. I gave it a 1.4. Logan, a 3 because of that fucking sweet tooth of yours. All right, 3.
I'm a fan
Talk
so
to
far.
me.
Now that could change, obviously, as we go further into this thing. But
This is just vile.
so okay, I'll let you guys go first since you guys think it's
It's
vile
sugar.
and tastes
It's
like
sugar.
it's sugar. But that's so to me and my diabetes. No,
Diabetes.
diabetes. I feel like so is that what's turning you off though? Is the
Yeah.
sweetness?
Yeah.
Is
I-
it because you're used to whiskey being
Oh, I love sweet bourbons, but there's a sweet bourbon limit. There's like
okay?
this has so much sugar they
That
can't
would be
even
a good
call it a
bourbon name.
whiskey.
Sweet bourbon limit.
They it's a good punk band.
there you
This is not even a whiskey.
Th-
It's a liqueur.
But this has that taste of when you when you buy a Starbucks, not a sponsor, when you buy a Starbucks and you ask for sugar, and they put sugar in, but they don't stir it at all, and you get to that very, very bottom, and all you get is that like super, super thick syrupy sugar.
Yeah.
That's what this tastes like. I swear if I had a spoon, it would probably stand straight up in this thing.
Really?
Now, let me tell you this.
All right.
If I was making a hot toddy for somebody, I might use that. I wouldn't, but I might.
I wouldn't.
Or if it was just like in your tea and you just wanted a little kick to your tea, but you also like your tea sweet, like some British folk do,
It's the only way to drink it.
then I might put that in there. Otherwise, I would. You're taking that home because I am not putting that in my bar.
Wow. The only thing that is turning me off on this is the smell. Because I was getting the same thing now. This is going to probably sound bad, and you're probably going to... And this is showing my...
Age?
No, my non...
Your amateur
whiskey,
palate?
My non-sommelier, whatever the fuck you call it, for this type of stuff. But I've got the sweetness got hit my taste buds.
I'm just looking at Warwick's face as he
He's
takes
getting a little
another
flick
sip.
over there. No, it hit my taste buds. I got the sweetness.
Yeah.
And then as it went down, I felt a little bit of a burnish. Like it kind of felt like
Burnish,
almost like
like
a cinnamon,
varnish?
like a burn-ish.
Oh.
It wasn't like a burn where some of those other ones where I'm kind of like you get the stank eye. But as it went down, it was cinnamon-y-ish, if you will. So it was like a burn. Like
but I'm trying to work out
that smell though.
what
that
I'm
smell.
Okay.
what I'm smelling.
So I'm throwing a little twist in now.
Okay.
Okay, because when I think of a honey taste to a whiskey, I don't think of this.
Mm-hmm. Oh God, he's got another one.
I think of this.
Oh dear God. Is this
Is it Zachariah
Wrong
Harris?
bottle.
wrong bottle? Good thing nobody saw that. Ooh, no.
There you go.
Lagavulin Nectar d'Ord. This is done in French
Now, when
Saturine
you say
cask
Lagavulin, you actually meant
finish.
Glenmorangie?
Did I say Lagavulin?
Yeah. Wow. Somebody's. Oh, see.
Glenmorangie Nectar d'Ord.
Or Glenmorangie.
Or is it? Yeah, Moran.
This one is finished in French Saturine cask. Saturine casks
What the hell's a
are
Santorini?
very unique casks that give it a little more sweetness, a little more honey flavor.
But see, you're saying little.
Yes.
So I'm assuming
It's not a liqueur. It's actually liquor.
I get it. So by the time when I go to taste this, I have a feeling what's going to happen is it's going to be like a hint of honey.
Yeah.
Like
That's what you
so-
want.
But so
That's what I'm
answer me this
talking
question.
about.
So do people drink this neat, or is this supposed to be a mix?
It's probably
I
supposed to be
don't
a
know.
mixer. Does
I've
it
never
actually say
seen people
liqueur on
drink
it, or do you just consider
No,
it?
it says liqueur.
Okay.
It says a bourbon flavored liqueur. Not flavored. I can't read it. They put micro letters on it.
this is like-
You can read it maybe. Rinse that with water before you go touching some Glenmorangie.
Yeah. I might actually rinse my. I might
Yeah,
actually
you
wash
might need to because I poured
It
you a
says
hefty
exceptionally
one.
smooth liqueur blended with pure honey.
liqueur like the band.
Yes.
Liqueur. That's the French version.
The French version.
As opposed to le cure, which would be the
Oh,
male.
the
That would be the male cure.
Oh my God.
Blended with pure honey and bourbon whiskey. Notice
pure honey.
But notice that pure honey comes first.
Yes. And they call it a liqueur.
What would you mix this
Because-
with then?
well,
as a
tea.
mixer?
Tea,
Just tea?
hot tea.
Not like in a drink of some sort? Like,
No.
So,
No.
see now,
No.
I'm the type where this is sugary and it's sweet, but I would mix this maybe with Coke to make it even
I'll say that's
That's
already
more
sugary.
sweet.
Jesus Christ.
What? Why don't you
I
just
told
chew
you,
on a big
I want
fucking
Jolt
cane
Cola
sugar
mixing
stick?
with.
to me, the only thing that's cool is I like the fact that they
The
have
bottle,
the,
the
they
way
have
they
the
did it.
silhouette
Yeah.
of the turkey.
Yeah, that is. Can you
Oh,
guys
that's
see
a
that?
that's
You
a
guys
male
see the way that
genitalia
works?
actually.
See how there's a turkey in there? And not everybody can see it. You people in YouTube land can see it.
Yeah.
Not everybody
Yes.
else.
Gobble,
Yeah,
gobble,
yeah.
bitches.
All
So-
the people on the podcast cannot
So
see it.
now I want to school you boys on proper Scottish whiskey.
Okay, now you said you were not a fan of Scotch.
What? No, not a fan of Irish whiskey.
Excuse me, Irish whiskey.
Okay.
As soon as it came out, that's why I paused because I'm like, shit.
No, I prefer Scotch over
I
bourbon.
should have just let you go on a rampage.
No. So let me explain something else too. We didn't cover it. Not explain. Let me have you guys guess how much this was.
$42.50.
No. This one.
I'm going to say
the American honey.
I'm going to say $27.99.
By Goose people.
$16.50.
Okay, and you said what?
$27.99.
$27.90. Mother, $18.
Oh, see?
Yeah.
Jesus.
Told you.
18
Did I get the
bucks.
family showcase?
You did. You get to take home the bottle. Now,
I don't know.
and it may be a little tough. I suggest swigging a little bit of water in your mouth too to get rid of that sugar taste, because these are much more subtle flavors. And,
See,
oh yeah,
so that's where
lick
maybe
that
we should have
glass.
started off with the good stuff. All right.
I'm not going from good to shit. We're gonna go the opposite direction because. Oh wait, let me try that again for you at home. Oh, come on. I mean, how do you? This is not a fair comparison. Clearly, this is not a fair comparison.
That is.
All right.
Now, color-wise,
Oh, it is not even close. Don't even pretend. That's
But
much
we've already
richer.
had the argument. That's not the natural color of that whiskey either.
Right. We don't know this for sure for all the scotches, but technically, a lot of scotches do color their whiskey. But this is proper Scotch
this is a proper.
to me. As they say, the best whiskey is the one you like the way you like it.
Okay.
That's from Whiskey Tribe. Shout out to Whiskey Tribe. Okay. Glenmorangie, and this, by the way, it is a 10-year, starts as a 10-year, and that goes an extra, I believe, 2 years
Damn.
in the French Saturn casks, and then the Ord casks. Nectar
The
de
what
Ord
casks?
casks.
Orca cast?
Ord, O''RD French.
Oh, okay.
Casks.
It's French.
I don't even, am I pronouncing that right? People let us know in the comments if
Probably
I'm
like,
even pronouncing that
Those
close
French,
to right.
they have a word for everything.
They do. This is Scotch. I'm back. I'm home. Honestly, it still has a little funny taste to it from that.
I think so.
I still get a little bit of this funky honey in there
Stank.
because I got to get rid of. I got to wash that out. I got to clean that out. But
Gotta wash that gray right
oh
out.
Lord, this is just so much better though. So this to me, if I'm going to go something with a little honey in it, I'm going this to nectar.
But so okay, so to the conversation we just had, I think the only problem I would have in that statement though is I don't taste any honey.
Well,
And I think that's
it's
because
all that sugar from the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
Because
Agreed.
you're probably
Agreed.
accustomed to the higher potency of honey, right? So
Yes.
you would. That's why I said we should.
And the
have started off
sugar
with it.
did fuck up the palate a little bit. I think it did make it a little bit more.
Are we doing a separate review for this one?
We could.
We could, but it's going to be tough because it's not an honest review.
Yeah.
We tasted it after Sugar Bomb.
So let's skip that. Let's just. I'm just thinking about, like what we're putting on the episode. So
Yeah.
we'll just do American Honey and we'll come back at another.
We'll bring
got
that
it.
back at some
We'll
other time.
revisit the Ord. That is probably one of my favorite.
that. We'll start off with that one.
Glenmorangies.
So obviously this is not the first time you've had this one.
Oh no! That's actually I just needed to get a new bottle, and I figured, hey, I'll bring that over to combat this because I did not want to drink this.
Cool.
I had to because it was a fucking honey episode.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So.
All right.
We're
Okay.
So
moving
I
on.
guess we got to do
on.
our
Where's our
barrel
time?
reviews of. We're at
13
about.
minutes,
I think we're
okay.
about 10 minutes.
Okay.
10,
Yeah,
11
yeah.
minutes.
All right.
So-
I keep looking down. I got to look at the camera.
Yes, I know.
Yes.
I do the same thing.
Ah.
Apologies to the people that are
We
watching
gotta
us.
lift that next time so it's right.
Either
next
that
to
will
it.
bring the camera down.
Well, then we'll be looking up our noses.
Oh God.
And I know British people are used to looking at people down their nose,
Absolutely.
but
Yeah, we're actually at about 13 minutes of recording.
Okay.
So, anyway,
So we're gonna go to
Winnie the Who,
Winnie the Who. Oh, somebody's getting drunk.
Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Blood and honey. Do we want to give our reviews?
we
Yes.
absolutely
our
have
barrels.
to do that first.
Let's do our barrels.
Already, you're
Heavy sigh. Or I should have gone. Oh bother.
Oh, bother. Okay, we ready?
Yep. 1,
2.
3.
Go. Yeah. All right. We're
Yeah.
pretty damn close.
Yeah, I honestly
So-
gave it I bumped up my to a 3 just because I thought Logan was going to actually give it like
Bumped it up to a
3,
2.3.
2.3.
Yeah, you might want to
correct.
clarify that for
Because I thought you were going to give it a 3, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll kind of be nice about it, but
no.
yeah,
I
okay,
ain't gonna
good.
be nice.
Yeah,
I'm not
the
sugarcoat.
movie-
So
the movie
Logan,
sucked.
myself gave it a 2.
I gave
Warwick.
it 2.5.
I
Okay.
gave it a 2.3.
Lon gave it a 2.3. So, I think we
Alright,
should
let's
start
see
off
what
with the
you
person that gave it the highest score.
So here's the deal with
Here's the deal.
Here's the deal with this one. So I went into watching this having heard some kind of side reviews of people saying this movie sucked, that it was dreadful, and it was crappy and all that kind of stuff. And whilst I don't necessarily totally disagree with that assessment, I think this has some mitigating circumstances to it that made me appreciate it a little bit more. I'm sure we'll get into it. It was made for around $100,000.
Mm-hmm.
And for around $100,000, I thought the production value and everything, the way it was shot,
I'll agree with that.
I thought it was actually pretty well done.
I'll agree with that. Their special effects were pretty decent. As far as the gore part goes,
Yeah, it was,
I had a real problem that, like, Piglet looked like a boar and looked like a real creature monster, and Winnie the Pooh still looked like a cartoon character.
well, we can start talking about some of those things. You know why, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
do know why.
So,
But we should talk about it.
yeah.
Keep it going.
Okay, I'll just go into it. So,
Just go, man.
as a lot of people
Just go.
may know or may not know, the Winnie the Pooh's the copyright for Winnie the Pooh expired in 2022 in the United States, and that's why they were able to make the movie. However, Disney made the Winnie the Pooh movies in like the 60s and 70s, and so that copyright doesn't expire until about another 15 years from now.
But their copyright was just mostly for the characters.
For the characters.
Certain characters.
And so that's why in the movie, this movie, you don't see Kangaroo and Tigger and Eeyore, because those were characters that were talked about in the A.A. Milne book, but Disney really made them bigger than they were in the books. But one of the things that Disney did tell them is you cannot make the characters look like the Disney characters. And so that's why
Makes
they had
sense.
to come up with their own version of what Pooh looked like and their own version of what Piglet looked like.
And even that, when they talk about Tigger and Eeyore, they have to do
They
it
don't
with
mention Tigger at all.
illustrations.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah.
They don't mention Tigger
Which
at all.
that's
true.
me off.
That's
So-
because you're a Tigger fan. Most
I'm a
people
Tigger
are
fan.
Tigger
Wonderful
fans.
thing about
yeah.
Tigger.
Most
Yes.
Wonderful thing.
Oh, the Tigger.
Yep.
Well, and yeah, so they mentioned Eeyore right at the very, very beginning
Yep.
as one of the animals that they eat.
Yep.
Mhm.
And
Spoilers.
it's actually kind of cool because the only thing you see is like his tail, like pinned.
Yeah, that was
pinned
kind of
up.
funny the way they did that.
That was kinda cool.
Yeah, that worked out.
But yeah, so that's why if you live in England, you probably haven't seen this movie, even though it was shot in England.
And you may not for years.
Yeah, you may not for years. So,
Unless you can probably stream it somehow.
I'm sure
using
there's
a
a
VPN
torrent
of some
site
sort.
that-
yeah,
Yeah, they
I'm
can
sure
pull
there's
it
some way
down.
of
Yeah.
doing it.
I'm sure. I think that the problem with the movie in general, overall, I think the concept was great.
Yeah.
Somebody needed to make this movie.
Yeah.
And I'm glad somebody did.
Somebody had the balls to do
And
it.
I'm glad it's going to spawn more movies of childhood stories and whatnot, because that's creepy as hell.
Yeah, they already announced that they're working on the second film.
Exactly. But most of that was
And people are-
because that was before the movie even streamed.
Right.
Yeah. People
Because
want.
everybody's
They
like-
want. They want.
They
this.
wanted
Yeah,
it. They want. They're like, what?
Even though it wasn't that great of a movie, they still
No.
want it.
So, but think about it. The whole, like, the stuffed killer doll concept was big, and everybody was like, oh, I got to have that, when it was the animatronics from Chuck E. Cheese or whatever.
Right,
And
right,
then-
right.
And then, like Willy's Wonderland. And then
Benny loves you.
Benny Loves You,
Oh my God,
which
that
was
was
great.
great.
And,
That was the whole
and
thing.
soon to be Five Nights at Freddy. If you haven't seen the trailer, watch
Oh.
the trailer.
And it was one of those things that people wanted the next step, and the next step is taking the old children classics and making them into horror movies. I love it. I'm glad they did it. It just fell a little short. I didn't have too much high hopes for it because, I mean, I knew it was a low budget movie, and I knew there wasn't a lot of backing to it, but I did have hope.
Yeah.
I did have hope. And I saw some of the trailers, and I thought, well, that's great, but Winnie the Pooh, like, first of all, he's got a bear face, but human hands. All right.
Yes.
Piglet had a great boar face, but he was a human-handed.
I wonder if they use that, though, as like a workaround for the whole not being able... You know what I mean? Because they said he can't look like Winnie the Pooh, so maybe they're like, we'll just give him 5
But
fingers.
again, we're not there to analyze that. We're there to enjoy the movie, so I'm not there
Correct.
to... all I look at is human hands. Oh, that's fucked up.
Right,
You're not there to analyze it.
But,
Although, here I am analyzing it.
Yes.
but the point is, that, they do say at the very beginning of the movie is they were experiments that were found in the forest.
And the thing so that was honestly the first probably 20 minutes of this movie I actually liked. I was like, they could pull this off. They did a good job with the tension building.
Yeah.
In all honesty, though, the one person in this movie that I honestly wish they would have done something different with was Christopher Robin.
What did you want them to do with him?
All he says is, "Please don't stop, please."
Yeah,
That's
he was pretty
all
much
he
a
says.
wuss,
I'm
right?
like, fucking say something else.
Well,
Like,
and it was to the point, and actually I wrote it down, is it's like, so literally when he goes back in there with his wife, they try and attack her. He says no. They don't take heed to his thing, and then he's like, no. Don't do that.
Yeah, you've got a chain wrapped around her neck and you're about to kill her, but don't do anything, please, Piglet.
As they're killing her.
Yeah, like if he
It's
was
like-
like trying to hit him or something, and then Piglet knocked him down, I felt like he
Gave
was
up
not
way too quick.
Yeah, he was just like, it's almost like he like wanted him to go. Oh no, don't kill my wife, you know.
Yes. Maybe he was just trying to get her knocked out.
Yeah.
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 Might have been a good way to do it.
Yeah, my vantage point of this whole movie was I went into it. I tried not to read reviews. I tried not to do anything other than just see the movie. The first watching of it, I like I said, I was happy that first 20 minutes. I'm like, okay, maybe they're gonna pull this off, because I think it was more what I like, which, you know, if you've watched any of our episodes, I do prefer the whole, like, you don't see you don't see Pooh much, right? In the beginning.
Yeah.
You see Piglet's face, when he kills his wife, but you don't see Pooh right away, so you're kind of like, oh. And I felt like they did a good job with that part of it. But then once they went to those women in the house, I felt like it just kind of went to shit. Like, it was like, okay, they're setting them up just to be killed, and it felt too formulaic at that point.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Well, and I
Absolutely
100% agree. I mean, and it is definitely one of these things where the weakest part of the movie was the story.
But they started the story
Well,
off good, right?
But that's what I mean.
They started it off good. They
Yeah.
set it up nicely,
Right.
and then they let it fall apart.
It's almost like they had the concept, and they just failed to kind of deliver on the actual kills. Because the other thing about it is they don't talk about. They do talk. There are parts where, like, there's another disappearance in the woods.
Right.
But the reality of the fact is those woods can't possibly be that big.
They're only
even if
100
they're-
acres.
Yeah.
You're right.
Dude, I
They're
could
actually
walk through
literally
100
acres.
acres in 10 minutes, and I'd be.
But so it's like you think that they would have police that would be like walking
circling
through
the whole,
it.
yeah. You
It's
make
like-
a police line, you're through it in half an hour, you're done.
I mean,
Well, now, so I guess that's the other thing is I was never a huge Winnie the Pooh fan, other than I liked Tigger. But it makes me wonder, was 100 acres the actual name of the?
yeah.
In this, okay, so
In the
then
book it was,
why
yeah.
wouldn't they go against that and just say 1,000 acres? You know what I mean?
Well,
Because then that's a little more believable
yeah,
because
but-
they've supposedly walked for 2+ hours to get to another hour possibly.
The theory
know.
is there
That's
that
very
they.
true.
The
Yeah.
theory is they call it 100-acre woods, but it's supposed to be a very, very large wood. Like Christopher Robin is the one who called it 100-acre woods.
But
Winnie the
again,
Pooh it's not. It's supposed to be larger than that. It was based on the British, the
Large.
actual
Large.
woods.
right. But I mean, I think it also is one of those things where when you're a kid, 100 acres
Sounds immense.
Sounds
Yeah.
like huge.
And it makes sense,
and
yeah.
as a kid, it is huge.
Yeah.
It's only when you get older you realize that yes, I can drive around that in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think the story
It was just a name, I think.
after they got to the point where they had the girls there, I thought it fell apart like pretty quickly. I don't get biologically why Pooh has to add honey before he eats the flesh.
Just because he likes the taste, I thought.
So maybe he would love this
He would
American
probably
honey.
love
He would,
Oh,
so if we
he
needed
can have
to,
it.
He would
we
like
needed to-
cover it with like
He
wild
can
turkey
take it.
We
honey.
need to hold him
That's
off.
fine.
We'll be like, here you go.
maybe the problem was we bought the wild turkey one. Maybe another one would have been better.
I don't know.
I
I mean,
don't know.
or it could have just been the fact that any liqueur I feel like you would not be a fan of.
Well, that's true.
So
That's a good point.
I'm thinking maybe I'll find one. I'll try and see what I got.
Anyway, so back to this shit of a movie.
So
I think, and I shouldn't say that.
Because you gave it a 2.5. That means
I
you gave
did.
it like at least a 50%.
I did.
I gave it a
Well,
2.
that's not a 50. I mean, you know, I
gave-
guess
I
so.
gave it a
but
2.5.
yeah,
You gave it 2.5.
I
He gave it
3.
2.3.
That's
Sorry.
close. That's
Close
close.
enough.
But the point is because I'm glad somebody did it.
Yes.
And
yes.
I am impressed with the way they took $100,000 and made a good-looking movie. out of
Yes.
And that,
The cinematography
that,
was
that,
good.
that was
Yeah.
literally it for me. I mean, I said it's like I've watched way worse movies.
Yes.
Like we've watched
Absolutely.
way worse movies here
Absolutely.
in live events
get 'em a rake.
that have also been made for
They didn't
similar
even
money.
qualify as a movie.
You know, and I think this was a better movie than a lot of those movies.
They
Agreed.
did.
Agreed.
Whoever did the directing, I'll never pronounce the guy's name. Is it
Rice Frake.
Is it
Water-
Rice? Okay, because it's
Yeah.
RHYS, and I'm like, is it Reese? Is it Rice? I
Rice.
don't fuck.
Yeah,
Reese.
Rice,
Reese.
Frank
Anyway,
White-
but they did a
Whitefield.
good job. Like, and I feel like they had the story. I liked how in the beginning they drew the characters, they showed them, they kind of explained stuff, and then they made it, they simplified it enough to draw the audience in. But yeah, it just you can't tell me that nobody else has stayed in that Airbnb prior to that, and there wasn't some other people that went missing from there.
Right.
And how do you have an Airbnb that close to Winnie the Pooh and not know there's Winnie the Pooh out there in the woods?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you're building it or setting it up, you're
They could've-
10 feet away from Winnie the Pooh.
Well, and they
What?
could have even
And
said
all the
too,
cars
like
that are
at
out
some
there?
point that these people, it was dirt cheap or something, just to make it sound like, hey, they lived here but moved out because they moved somewhere else. And I felt like they could have set that up a little bit better.
I think they focused on the fact that they were making Winnie the Pooh a killer,
Right. Because
and the rest didn't matter.
Yeah.
because there were some real plot holes in the story.
Oh yes.
So Christopher Robin and wife, they show up. You don't see it initially, but when he escapes, the car he escapes in is a Land Rover Discovery, which is the same Land Rover Discovery that was at the garage.
Yep.
When what's the name?
I think is that Blair?
That's
Not
true.
Blair.
The opening character.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got it
Maria.
written down there.
I think it's Maria.
I think it's
Jesus,
Maria.
I don't.
When she shows up there, and so that tells me that maybe the people who own the garage know about what's going on because you didn't see the garage people.
I got that
don't
feeling.
think-
I got that feeling.
No, because the whole thing is that Winnie the Pooh and the whole gang out there, in the wintertime, they were completely cut off. They could not go anywhere to get food. They had to eat each other because they were out of food and they were about to
Did
die.
I miss
But
that
how-
part of
but
it
how
too?
many
What
years?
happened to Owl and Rabbit?
They didn't talk about
They
them.
didn't talk about that.
They didn't.
Eeyore was the only one they
Exactly. So then, where the
about.
fuck did they go? I assumed then at that point that they must have eaten them too.
I think they might be saving them for another one, for the other movie, for part 2
Man,
coming
I
out.
would love it if they would have brought
But I
Tigger.
mean,
That's-
also it's years obviously went by.
Yeah.
I mean, in other words,
How did
like,
Eeyore feed you for years? I mean, I know
Right.
he was thick, but
Yeah,
Well,
when
maybe
they were
jerky.
starving, he might not have been that thick.
Yeah.
lot of fluff and stuff.
yes,
A lot
there
of
you go.
fluff
Yeah.
and stuff.
Well, and that's where
Occasional stitches.
honestly, I didn't know the like I said, I didn't know the backstory behind all of the the copyrights and all that other shit.
Yeah.
So I was hoping that like at the end when Pooh, which I kind of fast forwarding, but Pooh's getting the shit kicked out of him. I'm thinking Tigger's just gonna come out of the fucking woods and start like owning these guys.
That
or
would've been
something.
awesome.
I was like, oh,
That
this is gonna be
would've
great.
been
And then all of a
awesome.
sudden it's just like, no. And then
But-
he just gets up. And,
Yeah.
But one thing I did actually think was really funny about that scene with the guys from the pickup truck, which by the way, there was 4 guys, but that pickup truck could only possibly hold 2 people, so
Yeah,
with the other
yeah.
2 in the back. But did you notice how they all had totally different accents?
Yeah. Yes.
Some of them were just like very Southern English. Some of them, like one of the guys, I swear, sounded Australian.
Yes.
They
Yes.
did.
He was-
Diversity. It's
He was
called
clearly
diversity.
he was clearly the criminal.
Yeah, clear.
Wow.
One other thing about that
And we just lost some
Write your
followers.
complaints in the description area
Yeah.
below or below
if
that,
you're
was
the
right.
Australian,
comments
sorry,
in the comments.
you're all just a bunch of criminals.
As long as you're not from
He's not
India.
wrong though if you think about it. Because weren't they? That was the whole point of Australia. They
Absolutely,
Don't,
it was a penal colony.
Okay.
So one of the things
said
that's funny
penal.
again, I know, at the end when Christopher Robin escapes and crashes into the pickup truck, then it explodes. Did you notice how all of a sudden the pickup truck disappeared?
Yeah.
And only the Land Rover was just
Yep.
there by itself.
Budget.
I was gonna say.
They can only really
all I'm gonna
afford
say.
to
Yeah, we
destroy
can only destroy one.
They
piece
only
of
had the
shit.
pickup truck to destroy, and then even that, they probably just said, well, move the real one out of the way now.
Yeah.
So
So I don't want it
yeah.
actually catching on fire.
you can't afford to leave the shell
That's my
out
car. I got
there.
to drive home in that.
Yeah, I mean, to give it some praise, I mean, like I said, the first 20 minutes were good. They built the tension great there. The kills, not too bad.
No, I like the kills.
For
I
the
thought the
budget
kills were
they
good.
had.
Yeah.
I felt like the wood chipper scene,
Good chipper.
was a good idea.
Good chipper.
Although you didn't hear it was the only thing I didn't like.
There was a lot of things where you saw the device that was going to kill them. You saw them somehow heading towards that device, and then it panned away. It's like there was.
No, I thought it was like he rips off the girl's shirt and then shoves her in the chipper.
Which
But I don't think you actually. But you didn't, like typically
From the other side, you
Typically,
didn't
what you
see
see,
it.
you
So-
normally see like
The blood, they showed that.
Yeah,
the
it
blood
was a split
go up and out
second,
the back.
and
It
they
was
showed a little bit
bad
of it coming out.
CGI, but they
Yeah.
showed the blood and guts gooping out the end.
So now, but that's the thing is, the whole ripping the shirt off. I was like, okay, you get some boobies, but I'm thinking, oh, well, maybe because he's going to eat this. So then, to me, what I felt
What
like
was
he
the
should have
point
done,
of
which
killing her?
it just makes me sound fucking perverted and demented, but he should have ripped off her pants and then pushed her in the rest of the way, right? Like then it's like, oh, this is my food, right?
Right,
'Cause
right,
that's-
right.
So that's where I was taking.
I'm tenderizing it.
But yeah, but now he's
You're
like,
right.
I'll eat some jeans. I don't give a shit, you know.
But you're right. They didn't show him eating any of that afterwards, did they?
No.
no.
So he didn't eat any of his victims, did he? See?
No.
You are supposed to assume that because he did bring in there were skeletons sitting there,
I
right?
saw
So he
skeletons,
ripped
but-
the flesh off.
Yeah.
Is what I was
Right,
assuming.
right,
that
right.
was more. The only thing I could assume is they had that big barbecue pit.
Yeah.
To me, that was like, okay, they cook them there, eat them, take the bones as is, and just set them off to the side, kind of a la. I got a feeling this was more of like a cross between obviously Winnie the Pooh, but Winnie the Pooh meets like Texas Chainsaw Massacre ish.
A little bit.
You know, and I got that vibe, and I don't know if that was the direction that they were going with the cinematography and stuff like that, where it was kind of dark, and you didn't see a whole lot. But one big gripe I have is the very first kill. The woman is on the phone,
Yeah.
sees Winnie the Pooh, and he starts running at her. She puts the phone down and just runs. I'm like,
Right, and doesn't
fucking
say,
hang up,
"Hey!"
dial 911,
Right, right,
and go, oh my God, somebody's chasing me, you know.
Yeah,
and
right.
now that was another thing. So my brain, and that's what I hate about sometimes watching movies is because I go, they should have had her trip. She lost her phone and she didn't want to grab it, and she just kept running or something.
Right,
you know,
right,
I'm
right.
like, just I
Yeah.
could take the 30 seconds to do this, you know.
I think bottom line with this whole movie is I did find myself. So now I watched this movie probably 3 times, and
You were masturbating.
I had to do that. No, I had to do that because every time I watched the movie, I'd find myself picking up my phone and looking at my phone, and I'm like, oh wait, the movie's still going.
Oh no, that's not good.
And next thing you know, I'll be like, wait, what just happened? Rewind it. And I'm like, no,
see,
forget
yeah,
it.
that's-
I'll-
Well, and I think that
It's-
comes back to the very formulaic
yes.
Yeah.
side of
Yeah.
it. And it was that there wasn't enough. This is new. That
Yeah.
makes you kind of like keep an eye, keep watching it because you're waiting to see what that next new thing is.
Right.
That
It wasn't
otherwise you're gonna miss
intriguing
it.
enough.
And then in the same way is what you're saying. It's like, and the flip side is, often, certainly in like 80s horror movies, you counter that by having tits and ass.
Yeah.
And it's like there wasn't enough of that either.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it just didn't
Now,
hold interest.
I would say
That's all.
budget on that one. Yeah, you can't have an all-female cast, mostly female cast, and then not, do that unless you're trying to. I mean, I don't know if he's friends with these people. It could be one of those things where he's just
sure,
like,
sure.
you know what, I just got to get
I need people,
actresses.
yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
So I don't have to have the TNA, but it's a plus sometimes,
But the other thing that's funny is sort of right now, if you go to IMDb, you know how they have the little tags on the bottom of like horror and like
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah.
It has lesbian on there.
Yeah, for a whopping
And-
5 seconds of lesbian.
And so I was like,
They need to mark that stuff now?
I'm like, did I miss that?
Yeah, so the
They
two girls
want
in the beginning, the girl has the flower petals on the bed. So those two were a couple.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all
well,
that's all they really show.
Right.
And she's obviously obsessed with that girl, but then the other
And-
gir's kind of like, oh, this is going a
But
little fast.
does that warranted a warning?
Not so much a warning. In other words, it was more just they have classifications of
what's in there.
What's
Yeah.
in there.
That's crazy. You know what? I joke around with my wife all the time when we're watching a movie, and they say, be prepared. There's smoking in this movie. We're like, oh my God, no. Oh, we can't watch this.
Yeah.
Boobs, great sex, slice somebody's head off, but not smoking.
No
Yeah,
smoking.
no cigarettes. That's just bad for your health in all ways.
All right, well let's put a bow on this bitch. Do you have any trivia for this?
I do. And I'm only what I was thinking is we can possibly do, if you've got trivia. Do you got a trivia? Okay, so then maybe we'll do like one. Maybe we'll do probably 2 or 3 questions total.
Lovely.
By the way,
Like maybe 3.
before we do trivia, one interesting.
Great. I'm sorry, I didn't
one
mean to skip over that.
Interesting
Yep,
thing
yep.
is, so this movie was released in China. It was released in China for about 2 days, and then it was pulled because if you remember, there was a whole thing where
they make a joke about that.
making fun of
of the leader.
Oh my God, what the hell is his name now?
They made a joke of the Chinese government.
Xi Jinping. And
We're so going to get canceled now.
Yeah. Well, they're watching us right now anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, so basically they pulled it because it had anything to do with Winnie the Pooh.
Wow. Okay.
So anyway,
Yeah. I don't see this movie. So wait, it was $100,000. I believe it made $6 million.
1.7 domestically.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just heard recently, so that was how I knew. I think I sent you guys the article. They were going to make a second one because total like gross, I believe, was $6 million.
They did mention that the next sequel will be a substantially larger budget, and hopefully they can make Winnie the Pooh look good and not look like some fucker wearing a
I
mask.
kind of liked that though.
You liked that?
The reason I liked that was because
the fuck's the matter
the
with
reason
you?
is because think about, I like Michael Myers. He's just a man in a mask.
But that is supposed to be a mask. This wasn't supposed to be a mask.
Well, and it is funny because I was actually looking for it. One of the sites I looked at, they're like, oh yeah, you can see it in many shots, both Piglet
the mask
and
lifts up. Absolutely.
But I couldn't.
Oh, you didn't see that?
I wasn't. That's the other thing. I wasn't paying that deep of attention to it.
Even when they're just leaning over and the mask's popping out of their back
Well,
collar
yeah, you
and
can
stuff
see
like
it
that.
creep squiddly.
It was just so painfully obvious it was a mask. I almost likened it more to Michael Myers killing than only because it looked so obviously like a mask. But again, $100,000. I can't really complain too much about that.
So I only have a handful. So
Go for it.
Let's wipe them up, man. We're at 36 minutes.
Do we know what the? Do you remember when they're actually describing the fact that there's these deaths that are happening in the forest? They call the killer a name.
Yep.
Do you know what that
Was
name
that one
is?
of yours too?
It was. I saw this and I actually paid attention to it. Sort of one of my questions, but there's actually 2 things they called him. So I don't want to give.
Can I guess?
Yeah, I'll let you guess.
The Pooh Killer.
No.
No.
No, because
so wanted to
the only
be the
person
Pooh
that
killer.
knew him by Pooh was Christopher
Was
Robin.
Oh, okay.
So they
All
just
right.
thought of them as
These creatures. So basically, he was Bigfoot of Ashford Forest.
yes.
Bigfoot.
That's one.
Yes.
Okay.
And then in
All
one
right.
of the other articles, there was so I'll kind of piggyback off of that. In the articles,
Piggyback?
pun intended. Oh dear God.
Piglet back.
In one of the other articles, they called him something. And it was quick, but it's more of a descriptive name.
Bear Man.
Very close.
Man Bear.
Close or very.
Man Bear Bear.
No, it's man bear something.
Pig. Man Bear Pig.
Man bear pig.
Man Bear
Wow.
Pig. Isn't that from South Park?
Yes.
Oh
Man,
yeah,
bear,
yeah.
pig.
Yep. That's why I was like, oh my gosh. But yeah, that you got one of my questions
All
too.
right.
But so go ahead. You
Okay.
you can-
So this is a 2-parter.
go ahead.
First one's really easy. When Maria pulls up to the garage at the very beginning, she's driving her car. Do you know what make and model of her car was?
I know it's a Fiat.
Yes.
Was it a Fiat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
660.
500.
Oh god, I just totally took a guess.
And
Was
so
it a newer Fiat then? It was a
Yeah.
newer Fiat.
yeah.
Okay.
and the license plate.
So I did see that. I believe. I know it ended. I think in JE. I don't remember what the first part of it. I know it was yellow, and I know
No clue.
WM63XEY.
Then that's not what I
For
thought.
those of you who watch the show regularly, you should look for every license plate you ever see. Write it down. It will be trivia.
And then sometimes I don't do the license plate just because I know everybody's going to look for it.
You know, but then people are going to wait for it and goes, he didn't ask the license plate question. He didn't. I got it written down.
I spent hours going through
I
it.
spent hours trying to freeze frame it.
Then I go, gotcha, bitch.
Does
I
anyone
brought it
remember?
to a forensic specialist to see what the license.
Do you remember what the name of the garage was that she stopped at?
I should remember this, and I don't.
Is it Robin's Garage or something like that?
No, I think it was Logan's. The
Was
guy's
it
name was
really?
Logan, if I'm not mistaken.
It's Redford Garage.
Oh, good job.
Is there significance to that?
No,
No.
He's
Of course
getting good
not.
at this.
Okay, so
Are you going to ask any? You got any trivia?
I've just got one other one I'll ask, but I was going to try and keep it brief.
He's gonna
so-
cover
I'm
it.
letting him go,
well,
man.
like
He's-
mine,
Okay.
mine is
hey, he put in effort. I'm
All right.
relatively simple.
Let's go.
Outside the garage, I've already told you one of them, but there were 2 cars parked outside the garage when she
Yeah.
pulled up.
Yep.
What were the 2 cars?
Was
I
the other
want to
one a
say
Land
the other
Rover?
one that caught my attention. Was it a Subaru?
So very close.
Okay.
And that's what I thought it was originally, and then I'm like, no, those lights are too square.
Is it an Audi?
No, it's a
Datsun.
it's a Mitsubishi Evo 4.
Oh,
Oh, it was an Evo?
really? Interesting.
Because you can tell because it was the lights and it had like the big round fog lights.
Really?
Yeah. So
Good.
that's all my questions.
All right, I'll just ask one more. Keep it brief.
Zoom.
How many times did Winnie the Pooh smash? I think her name was Blair. Her head against the wood chipper.
Oh yeah, on the edge of the wood chipper. 5.
I'm gonna say 3.
8.
Yeah, he did a lot. He,
Together.
The 2 of you together
It would have been 8.
with
There
your
you go.
powers combined.
What are twin powers?
So I did think one thing that was weird about Pooh in general was
It's stinky.
it's sneaky. No, it's just the fact that it's like, so really he kills by slapping people. he has a killer slap.
Well,
Well, so that
he's not a
I don't.
bear.
Was
I
it,
don't-
or was it
I mean,
a
he is
slap,
bear,
or was it
but
more
he's
of a
not
chop?
bear.
But he didn't go hiya.
No. Well, because he doesn't talk. So that was another thing.
Here we go. Why did
I
he talk?
really
Yeah,
wish.
they said why
I
he
really
didn't.
wish. His only words, which obviously this is a spoiler, but his only words would have been "oh bother," and then just.
That would have
Now,
been good. If he
I don't
ended
know
with
if that was a.
He did
Like
say
for a
something.
Disney thing.
Yeah, so he's probably like,
because
shit, I'm not
don't-
going to have to answer.
Because I don't think that was. Nah, maybe it was in the books.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I
But
think it
And
was
he did say something at the
Yeah,
end.
he said you
know.
left.
Yeah,
is what
you
he
left.
said,
Yes.
which was going to be one of
That
my
should-
trivias.
Oh, okay. See,
But that'll
not
give it.
anymore.
We'll give that to them,
All
so
right.
they can have it. But
There you go.
yeah, I think the ending could have been better. I liked how they ended that, but I think they should have kept going with it and maybe killed off Christopher Robin and then let him just go on his merry way.
Yeah.
For sequel, I only feel like maybe if they can bring Tigger in, that'd be fucking awesome.
Then they're not going to be able
They're
to.
not gonna be
Because
able
that's he's not open back into. Well,
But they couldn't they just call him Tiger?
2024
Sure,
is
You know what I
Sure,
mean?
there's-
Like they called the other ones Owl.
There
and
might be,
Rabbit.
and maybe they got enough of a budget that they can pay off Disney to say, "Hey, we're
I
going to."
doubt that.
But,
But
but the,
Yeah,
the
I do
problem
too,
is it's
but-
not a payoff Disney. It's the
the actual copyright.
no, not so much that. It's the family friendly part. In other words, it's like Disney's not going to sign off on allowing one of their like cash cow family friendly
I got you.
characters suddenly killing people.
I agree, but
Too
that's
late.
what the
Cat's out of the
people
bag.
want. But
I think
when
what they
Disney
should do.
sees the money coming in, Disney will do whatever the money tells them
Yeah.
to do.
So I feel like what you could do. Actually, I'll ask this question: what do you guys think would be a good? It doesn't have to be Disney. Just a good character that you grew up with that would make a good horror movie.
Well, they've done a lot
Mm-hmm.
already, and
Or one that
and
you haven't seen. I should
we
say.
will. I'm hoping to still talk about this in maybe the finishing the bottle episode. But the
Yeah.
Humpty Dumpty,
Keep watching for the finishing the bottle episode.
they did do a Humpty Dumpty movie.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't. Other people did. It was retrofit to a Humpty Dumpty story. I think that's the problem. I think what they need to do is get the actual storyline from Humpty Dumpty, which is really just a poem,
Right.
and expound on that to where you can actually develop a story that's organic to Humpty Dumpty, not some doll story that they shoved the Humpty Dumpty name on and called it a day.
Okay.
So it is in the plans for the guys who did this movie that they are looking at doing Humpty Dumpty, and they are looking at doing Sleeping Beauty, and there was another one that they
Yeah,
were
there was
talking
one
about
other
doing.
one.
But like for this one, for the sequel to this, like I don't know how they can do a sequel. I would be really intrigued to see.
Yeah, because
Like-
Piglet's dead now, right?
Yeah,
Right,
but
Piglet's dead.
But
We-
Pooh took the shit kicking of a life and still came back, right? I mean,
So you think
now I
Piglet
think it's
might?
all going to be all Pooh,
Okay. Oh, okay.
all over
okay.
the place.
It's gonna
Pooh
be-
everywhere.
Ain't that the
It's gonna be
truth?
bloody
But see-
Pooh everywhere.
Now, one workaround, if they could bring Tigger back, because Tigger bounces around, you could just have kind of a whole, oh shit, what the hell's his name from X-Men? God,
What?
that's so sad.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler. You could have a
Oh.
Nightcrawler thing where something's
Oh.
just bouncing around. You don't see it, right?
Yeah,
Could
yeah,
you get
yeah.
around it that way? And you don't
Yeah,
have to
but-
say the name, but you could assume who it is.
Yeah,
So
but they're not going to be able
I asked
to.
you the question, but I'm gonna. My thought would be, what if you had a Tinkerbell movie?
Yeah.
Because what happens with Tinkerbell? She's infatuated with Peter Pan. Peter Pan doesn't give a shit
and she
about her.
did try to kill Wendy.
Like single white female.
Yeah, exactly.
She
You could turn
did
it into something like
try to
that,
kill
where you've
Wendy.
got Tinkerbell just goes off the edge
Yeah.
and starts killing people to get around. To
Now,
get to,
if Disney
That'd be a
wasn't
good
okay
one.
with Winnie the Pooh, they're not going to be okay with Tinkerbell.
well, let's call her Bell Tinker. Bell Tinker.
Oh, come over here.
Yeah.
And
And
touch
they've
I
my,
have no idea what that's about.
touch my bell, Tinker.
Yeah.
And they've done
Ring-a-ding-ding.
tons of mermaid ones. Not
Yeah.
necessarily the same story as Little Mermaid, but they have done tons of
The
mermaid.
Little
What?
Mermaid one originally is like fucked up. Have you
What?
heard
Yeah.
that?
Right, because of the Hans Christian Andersen
Yeah.
story. I mean,
Which,
it's
think about that. All the Grimm stories, Hans Christian Andersen, they're all like, even children's nursery rhymes in general
Right.
are scary shit. Ring Around
you know
the
the Muffin
Rosie.
Man?
yes.
I mean, think about that. They could do a whole movie around Ring Around the Rosie.
Yeah.
Well, we should end this one here.
We
Yeah, we're gonna
definitely
stop this
need
one
to
here.
end this one here. We can pick that up in finishing the
Finishing the bottle. So,
Made the 45-minute mark.
yeah.
We do have another children's movie story adaptation coming up next episode.
And then the finishing the bottle that will be coming the week after that. We'll obviously kind of be talking about a little bit
two
more
of them
about this
together.
episode, the next episode, and kind of some of the things that we've been talking about, and meld it all together. Drinking
Like
some
Dr.
more.
Dre said, till the next episode.
Did he say that?
Yes, he did.
Oh, now we're quoting Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
As long as it's not
I could
Kanye.
quote, Snoop
Keith
Dogg,
out.
my
All
favorite
right.
poet.
Well, I don't know how much of a pause we need because I'm going to put a big stamp of things over the faces of that conversation. So
Anyway.
so let's just thanks for coming, everybody.
Thank you for coming,
And we'll see you
listening,
later.
watching,
We love
whatever.
Save yourself some time.
Bye bye. Don't watch it. Bye bye.
Bye.
Hit that. Hit that. Hit that.
Hit that.
Hit that perfect.